Today, I'll walk you through step by step how to import data from Excel into ClickUp so you can move your spreadsheets into a full project management system without manually recreating a single task. ClickUp is one of the most powerful productivity platforms available, and its import feature means you don't have to start from scratch when you already have data living in Excel or CSV files. If you find this helpful, please like and subscribe, and let's get started. The first thing you need to do is sign into your ClickUp account. Go to app.clickup.com and enter your credentials. Make sure you're signing into the correct account if you manage multiple workspaces, because your import will land inside whichever workspace you choose, and moving data between workspaces after the fact is more work than getting it right the first time. Before you touch anything in ClickUp, spend a moment reviewing your Excel file. Open it and look critically at your data. Check that each column has a clear, consistent header in the very first row, that there are no merged cells, and that values like dates follow a uniform format throughout. ClickUp will try to map your columns automatically, but it can only do that well if your spreadsheet is clean and logically structured. A few minutes of tidying now saves a lot of remapping later. Next, make sure your file is saved in the right format. ClickUp accepts both .xlr and CSV files. If your spreadsheet is still in an older .slr format, open it in Excel or Google Sheets and use Save As to export it as .xlr. CSV is slightly simpler because it strips formatting and formulas, leaving only raw values, which is exactly what ClickUp needs. Either format works well, so choose whichever is most convenient for your data. Now switch to ClickUp. In the lower left corner of the screen, you'll see your workspace avatar, that small circular icon with your logo or initials. Click it to open the workspace menu. This is where your account level settings live, separate from individual space or list settings, and it's the gateway to tools like imports and exports that affect your whole workspace. From the menu that appears, select Settings. The Settings panel is where you control billing, members, integrations, and data management. It's worth familiarizing yourself with this area generally, but right now scroll through the left-hand sidebar until you find the option labeled Imports/Exports and click on it. The Imports/Exports page shows you every data source ClickUp can pull from, things like Asana, Trello, Jira, Monday.com, and of course spreadsheets. Take a moment to look over the list. It's genuinely impressive. For our purposes, select the option labeled Excel and CSV. This is the universal importer for any structured tabular data, regardless of which application originally created the file. Click Start Import. A dialog will open prompting you to upload your file. You can either drag your .xlr or CSV directly into the upload window, or click Browse to navigate to it through your file system. Either way works identically. Just make sure you're selecting the correct version of your file, especially if you have multiple drafts saved. Give ClickUp a moment to process the upload. Once it finishes, it will display a preview of the columns it detected inside your file. This is the column mapping stage, and it's the most important part of the whole import. ClickUp will attempt to automatically match your column headers to its built-in fields, things like task name, description, due date, assignee, and status. Review every single mapping carefully. If a column header in your spreadsheet uses different phrasing such as owner instead of assignee or deadline instead of due date, ClickUp may not recognize it automatically and you'll need to set that match manually using the drop-down beside each column. If your spreadsheet contains columns that don't correspond to any of ClickUp's default fields, for example a budget column or a client name column, you have the option to create a custom field right here during the import. Custom fields are one of ClickUp's most powerful features, allowing you to track virtually any kind of data alongside your tasks. Don't skip these columns, map them to a new custom field so that information isn't lost. Once every column is mapped to your satisfaction, you'll be asked to choose where the imported data should land inside ClickUp. Select the destination space, folder, or list that makes sense for this data. If you're importing a project plan, choose the appropriate project list. If you're unsure, you can always import into a new list first, review it, and then move tasks around afterward. You may also see some additional settings at this stage, things like how to handle duplicate tasks, so review those options before proceeding. When everything looks correct, click Import. ClickUp will begin processing your data, and depending on the size of your file, this may take anywhere from a few seconds to a minute or so. Don't close the browser tab while it works. Once the import completes, navigate to the list or folder you chose as your destination and take a careful look at what arrived. Open several individual tasks, not just one, and verify that each field populated correctly. Check that due dates are formatted properly, that assignees resolved to real team members, and that any custom fields are showing the right values. If something looks off, don't panic. You can delete the imported tasks and run the import again after correcting the source file or adjusting your column mappings. Congratulations, you've successfully imported your Excel data into ClickUp and transformed a flat spreadsheet into a fully functional, manageable task list. From here, a great next step is to set up a view that suits your workflow, whether that's a list view, a board view for Kanban-style management, or a Gantt chart if your data included due dates. You might also explore ClickUp's automation features to keep your tasks moving without manual updates. Save this video so you can come back to the mapping step whenever you're importing a new spreadsheet. The column matching stage is where most people trip up, and having a reference close at hand makes the whole process smooth and reliable. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.